Now you can please tell me your names. You all got what names are there? No. Ramachandra Prabhu, right? That is actually we all were thinking that the name was very suitable for Swaminarayan Prabhu.
Samadarshi Ramachandras.
Samadarshi Ramachandra. Because your character and behavior is very much emulating Lord Ramachandra. You are a fan.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Very much. Your Krishna Master exactly understood your mood and given the name. And you yourself, both of you, what names you got? Harihara Narayana Prabhu and Sugamini Induleka Devi Mataji. Okay. Very nice. And also there is one more I am seeing, Sarveshwari.
Sarveshwari. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. And also Hemangirada Mataji is also joining now. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Dandas Pranamana.
Pranam.
Video orkagala.
No problem. You can hear. No?
Okay.
So I gave you a homework to Harihara Narayan Prabhu and Sugamini Mataji. You have done that?
Yes, Prabhu.
Because you must have got only a couple of hours time when you got that, because you must have had very little time. It was a big article, 2 articles and 1 lecture,
Video.
which I had one video recently spoken here for the devotees in Hyderabad.
I was able to hear the lecture. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. In case you couldn't complete, you can go through it at your leisure. You know, it's extremely rare for one to get the shelter of a pure Vaishnava in this creation. Even Sripad Shankaracharya says 3 things are very rare in this world: the human form of life, and he says Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, and also the Jignasa. To have that Jignasa or the Mumukshutvam is very rare. Manushyatvam is also rare. And the third one is what you all achieved now, is shelter of a Guru. Guru Charanam Bhuja Nirbhara Bhaktaha Samsarada Chirat Bhava Muktaha Tendriya Manasa Niyama Devam Drakshasi Nija Hridayastam Devam. So when Devaki is compared to a disciple, and Vasudeva is compared to the Guru. So from Vasudeva's mind, the Lord got transferred to Devaki's heart. Therefore, we have a Garbhastuti prayers. That Garbha is not an ordinary yoni of any woman. This Garbha is Hridaya Garbham. So in the 10th canto, there is one full chapter called Garbhastuti. So when Krishna appeared in the heart of Devaki, all the devatas came to shower flowers on her and glorify her. So there Prabhupada writes, Devaki is like a disciple and Guru is for Vasudeva. From Vasudeva's mind, Krishna entered into Devaki's heart. Similarly, at the time of initiation, Guru delivers Krishna to the disciple's heart. So after that, the disciple develops a conviction to worship the Lord as one's deity, whole life and beyond. That affection, that sincerity, the seriousness in performing devotional service comes actually after the initiation. So I will show you a small, some 5-6 slides I have made for you, which I will share with you now. I will just share it. You can tell me whether you are able to see it.
Sure.
You can see it, this one?
Yes, it's coming up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So after taking initiation, what all a sincere sadhaka should do. So I have given some very simple tips which anybody can do if they pay a little attention. You see, most important thing is we should feel wanted, loved, cared for in the Vaishnava family. See, why I am calling it as a Vaishnava family, you know, earlier we are in the world, you consider different things to be family. For example, in the office, you have one group of people with whom you consider like a family. At home, we have grandmother, grandfather, father, mother, husband, wife, children. This is another family. And then there is a spiritual family where Guru becomes the spiritual father and Vedas become our spiritual mother and all the Vaishnavas become our spiritual family. Like your Guru's godbrothers become like your, Chitappa, Priyappa. And the Mari. They become your Chachaji type of relationship. Their disciples also become our cousins. So it's like a very big family. ISKCON that way, 3 million devotees in ISKCON, all of them become your relatives now. when you become a devotee. So how to feel ourselves a part of this big spiritual family? It is a new identity change for all of us, isn't it, when we take initiation. So, and if we don't feel this family, then we won't be able to take full advantage of being in this family. And if you feel this connection, we can get tremendous advantage. Like for example, I go to various temples, ISKCON temples. I meet many devotees. I see that in every ISKCON temple, Prabhupada is sitting behind. So as soon as I see Prabhupada, I feel, oh, here is my home. It's like another home. Just like wherever we see Prabhupada is like a grandfather guru. So immediately reminds us that they are all our relatives only. We can feel free, we can feel friendly here. And one amazing thing that many of the material organizations appreciated in ISKCON is that in all the temples have Mangalarati, which means round the clock Mangalarati is going on. At any given time in the globe, somewhere Mangalarati is going now. Prabhupada made a very standard procedure, Mangalarati, Narsingharati, Tulsiarati, and therefore whenever you go to any temple, you feel very much at home. So within our own communities, like wherever you live, whether you live in Phoenix or you live in Coimbatore, whichever community you live in, it's very important for us to feel a part of the spiritual family. And also, wherever we travel around, we make friendships with devotees. And then that way, healthy exchanges can take place in our life and we can benefit. So that is the first thing I have shown. So this is the first thing, relationships, Priti Lakshanam. One of you can read it, please. One of you.
Relationships, Priti Lakshanam amongst devotees. Developing deeper relationships with outside.
Okay, I'll make it a little proper. Just 1 minute.
Okay. Developing deeper relationships with each other outside the realm of day-to-day service based upon Krishna Katha. Priti Lakshanam, just one big family, Guhya Vakyati Prichati and Dadati Pratigrihnati and Bhunkte Bhojayate.
Yeah, correct. And being like Prachetas. You all know Prachetas, 10 sons of Prachana Parishad. They all went to forest and accepted Lord Shiva as their guru. And they went underwater. And under the water, for 10,000 years, they did penances, austerities. After which Lord Vishnu appeared in Ashtabhuja form and gave them darshan and blessings. What Lord Vishnu was amazed by the Prachetas is not the 10,000 years of austerities underwater. He didn't mention one word about it. That's the most amazing thing. You will find, if you read that section of Prachetas, you will see Lord so surprised, pleasantly surprised and very appreciative. So one verse, famous verse, in the beginning itself he said, Param Vrinidvam Bhadram Vo Yuyam Me Nripanandanaha Sauhardena Pradak Dharmas Tushtoham Sauhrdena Vaha. He said that all of you, Prachetas, you have been performing your Krishna consciousness devotional service in a friendly mood, coming together, helping one another, caring for one another, inspiring one another, sharing your ideas with one another, collectively, together, in a one-pointed fashion, keeping Krishna in the center, putting aside false ego. That kind of consciousness without blaming one another, without offending or fault-finding with one another, not making mole into mountain, and not seeing petty differences, but, seeing the spark of Krishna in each other's hearts, appreciating one another, encouraging one another, purifying and uplifting one another. So that kind of friendliness with which you practice, this is very touching to my heart, Lord Vishnu said. Whether it is husband, wife, family, There is one family in ISKCON, is Grace Sanghashandas Adhikari Prabhu and his good wife Vishnu Priya Mataji.
Yeah.
When they came to Pune, they give lecture twice in a year, one week they come. One time I was introducing them, so he also said, please also announce in my introduction that more than 50 years we are married, and we never separated, and we are happily continuing our Krishna conscious Grihastha ashram. So you should announce this also. So he said, this is also another type of success, he said. So later on he was telling how it is success, because you will find that sometimes husband's expectations are not met, sometimes wife's expectations are not met from the spouse, and they become morose, and they quarrel with each other, develop misunderstandings. But if they tolerate each other and be humble with each other, be cooperative and friendly, and live life in sattvic mode, then such a family is a happy family, actually. With Krishna at the center, it is very easy, very happy family. So, therefore, within family, within your Bhakti Vriksha, and within your community, and within ISKCON society, in this way we can see the circles at different levels. So, that Preeti Lakshanam is very important to develop. And what is the Preeti Lakshanam? One thing is the cooperation part I told you. Apart from the day-to-day seva that we do, we should develop that Preeti Lakshanam by Krishna Katha. Yeah, like here you see as well as Jayapataka Maharaj and as well as Radhanath Maharaj. They both took us to Yatra in 1993 when I had gone. So they both are very, very fond of speaking Gaur Katha in Mayapur Dham. So that is the time we saw how they narrate the Gaur Katha, and they have deep respect for each other. And my spiritual master sees as well as Jayapataka Maharaj is a senior god brother, and he has very deep appreciation for him. So in this way, Preeti Lakshanam actually means just like one big family. Guhyamakati Prachati means revealing mind in confidence and hearing in confidence. That is the soul of the Preeti Lakshanam. Out of the 6 items, Guhyamakati Prachati means Ramananda Raya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, you find Swarup Damodar and Pundrik Janati, Nityanand Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu. You find Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur. They are all doing Guhyamakati Prachati. Rupa Goswami is inquiring from Lord Chaitanya. Sanatana is inquiring from Lord Chaitanya, like that. And Dadati Pranapati, you all know that. So this is the first one, developing relationships. Why this is very important? Because if you develop relationship with devotees, your future is very bright in devotional service. And if we keep ourselves aloof, then we are going to make connections in material circle more. And if we make connection in material circle more, they will drag us down. The devotees will pull us up. So therefore, even though it may be a little austerity for us, because many devotees have many deficiencies and problems, we should still continue keeping connection with devotees because they are offering the best thing. Once Gaurang Prabhu was asking a brilliant question. He was telling, see, you go to one hospital where, it's an air-conditioned room and very nice cot. Your nurse comes and keeps on coming to talk to you and ask you, are you comfortable? You want this, you want that. Food is served on time, everything. Only thing is the injection they give is poison. It is dangerous for you. It will kill you. On the other hand, there is another hospital where the cot has only 3 legs. The 4th leg is broken, and the cushion is not at all proper. It is the hard wood is paining your back, and you repeatedly call the nurse. She doesn't come on time. She has too many patients to attend, and the window is open. There is no curtain, and the cold wind is blowing. You are finding it very horrible. But he said the medicine is a proper medicine. Within a week you will get all right, and you will be discharged from the hospital. So he was asking everybody which hospital you will take treatment. So he said many organizations are very pakka in their PR. You will find they do very well, but they don't have the substance what the Guru Parampara is offering. In ISKCON, the Guru Parampara is very powerful. They are offering the best substance. But devotees may be little professionally, not so smart. Not in all the places, in some other places. So some devotees may be straight away talking on the face, giving feedback. Sometimes some devotee may be a little irresponsible, or you may not be welcomed so well. But be assured that the Guru Parampara is giving the purest knowledge in this sampradaya. Don't see the material deficiencies. See the spiritual proficiency in ISKCON, the spiritual gift that you are receiving. So we should not get bogged down by material deficiencies in this world. Material deficiencies, even if you make material deficiency filled up and proper also, you can't live in this world forever. But if spiritually, if you take in, you will go back to Godhead and never to return back again to this world. So therefore, relationships within devotee circle is very important. The second one. Please read the second one, yeah?
Regulated practices, spiritual nourishment. 5 as model wholesome, all-around development of sincere practitioner of bhakti.
Yeah.
Sadhaka.
If you want to progress in bhakti in a wholesome way, what is wholesome way? Wholesome means not just in bits and pieces you accumulate something and think, I am advancing in spiritual life. But many times, even after many years, people feel a lack of advancement because they fail to make sure that they do all these 5 items. So let us see one by one. Yes, the first one is sadhana, regulated practice of bhakti yoga. So brahmacharis, grihasthas, everybody, Prabhupada wanted them to do this. Mangalarti, japa, darshan of the deities, Guru Puja, temple Bhagavatam, etc. Now, grihasthas at home, they have to cook in the morning, Matajis have to cook, and Prabhuji has to go to office. So the first priority should be given to japa. The chanting of 16 rounds should be given priority. And in case there is no time for Arati in the morning, then one should do Gaurarati in the evening. Either of the two. Either one Arati in the morning, or the deity should get at least one Arati in a day minimum. So, and also reciting the Bhagavatam every day, at least half an hour. Some time of the day should be taken out because Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya principle. So, if one cannot do Guru Puja at home, you are going in the bus, then one should sing the Guru Puja and meditate on Srila Prabhupada and one spiritual master by expressing our gratitude. It's very important. And that's what I used to do when I was in the company sometimes. We will do Mangalarti and Narsingharti. There was no time for Tulsi Arti. Then we would sing Tulsi Arti, Guru Puja while coming. Most important is to sing it out and meditate on the meaning. So, in this way, the sadhana, it actually purifies the heart. Sattvam shuddhi tasmad brahma saukyam tu anantam. One will experience the spiritual bliss by strictly, attentively, and seriously doing sadhana. So, in some homes, they sing Mangalarti together rather than singing, lead singer singing and following. Then you save some time in case somebody has less time. But these are all Bhakti Yoga elements, components, and they cannot be ignored. Because those people who ignored this eventually started asking, can I chant my japa in counter? They gave up the Tulasi beads. They started chanting on counter. Then they asked, while driving the car, can I chant? So those things are not good. That why they came to the standard, because they are ignoring these important aspects of sadhana. Mangalarti, japa. And the deities, offering bhoga to the deities and opening the darshan, bowing down to deities. It's very important because Krishna says, Mam Namaskuru. So, Manmana Bhamad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. So, one should do those things. And the second one is Swadhyaya, scriptural study. So, I will send you a suggestive order of reading Prabhupada's books. There are small books. In fact, in Bhakti Vriksha system itself, we have Krishna Seva, Krishna Sadhak, and all that Shraddhavan, Krishna Seva, Krishna Sadhak, Krishna Upasak, and Prabhupada Ashray, Guru Ashray, those 5 books are there. 5-6 books are there. And so when we finish those books, then you go to Bhagavad Gita, then you go to Bhagavatam, then you go to Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in this way, we can become thoroughly learned in these books. And nowadays, many people ask, can't we read some self-help books? Or there are also many other books in ISKCON itself. So there are different categories of books you find in ISKCON. One category of books is on the holy names. And there are other books like you find Prabhupada Leela related books. Also you find. You also have then Prabhupada books. Now, most people always want to see new arrivals. Therefore, now BBT is also printing Prabhupada books with new cover pages now. So that devotees will be happy to see the Prabhupada book with the new cover. So, we should not always be looking for new arrivals. We should finish all the books of Prabhupada once through. Before we can be fond of reading many outside books, other books and all. Of course, Prabhupada Leela, 20%, 25% of our book reading could be Prabhupada Leela. It's very important. All the 25, 30 books are there, Prabhupada Leela books. Why? By reading Prabhupada Leela books, we will develop affection for Prabhupada. And that affection will inspire us to read Prabhupada books more seriously. That is very good. And also, one should know about one's own spiritual master's Leela also. Then one should hear the recordings of the senior devotees who have spoken many Leelas, like, as Mahavara, Prabhu, and people like that who have served Maharaj, personally, intimately for years, they have spoken recordings. So when we hear from devotees who personally served, then our affection for spiritual master is also increased. So every day one should think of the spiritual master 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening, in 3 sandhyas. We remember him. Remembering him means remembering his instructions also, And His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj's instruction for his disciples is, following the model of Godruma Kalpatavi, what Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote. Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj wrote a book called Bhakti Vriksha Manual. So from that Bhakti Vriksha Manual, Maharaj wants all his disciples to expand preaching all over the world in cell groups, like Bhakti Vriksha cell groups. So Maharaj has personally conducted seminar on how to expand congregation preaching. He came to Pune also. He gave almost 3 to 4 hours of seminar in those days. Can you imagine? Nowadays, to get such seminar would be very rare. We were all sitting in temple hall. We were about maybe 80 to 100 of us. And he gave the whole congregation, very early days it is. When the Bhakti Vriksha had started, Maharaj had brought out that book and made a course out of it. So he was the first one to teach it all himself. Then later on, he gave it to many of his disciples to teach also. So Maharaj says that the Christians have expanded all over the world through the cell groups. Similarly, our Krishna Bhakti also should expand everywhere. When it becomes 15, then it multiplies into 2. And then more Bhakti Vriksha leaders come, then Upachakrapati, Chakrapati, Sector, and all those groups come. And then eventually, many of Maharaj's disciples have successfully instituted such practice of expanding congregation. In Bangalore alone, I am seeing there are 3 temples which have sprouted from multiple Bhakti Vrikshas. And now many more are coming now. Avatar Chitrapu is bringing the 4th one. Like that. Maharaj has told the Bangalore devotees, you should make a dozen temples. He has told them. Temples means each temple will have hundreds of Bhakti Vriksha groups like that. So this is one of Maharaj's vision. And another thing that Maharaj is very strong about is, Maharaj, see, you all know, after the stroke, Maharaj is sitting in the chair and many of the treatments are going on. But he is very insistent that all his disciples should study all the exams, like Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta. He says, even I am going to give test. He's saying, I am going to study Prabhupada books and give test. You can imagine in this situation, in this age, he wants to give test. He is very particular about it. Therefore, in Coimbatore also, His Holiness Bhaktivinoda Maharaj himself teaches in Coimbatore. And he makes everybody take part. He has personally taught, Hargreaves Padmaseki Mataji and even Hemangiraja Mataji. They all have attended, course by His Holiness Bhaktivinoda Maharaj, conducting it himself. So, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj delights in that. He delights in studying Prabhupada books and giving course. He says that all my disciples should become thoroughly learned in Prabhupada books. That's one of his vision also. That is his desire. In the same manner, now the TOVP is coming and the whole world is going to come to Mayapur Dham. And that will become like a beacon light for the whole world. Everybody will expand congregation preaching. They'll come to Mayapur, derive a lot of inspiration and go back and do great things all over. So you all are in America. So in America, in your own place in Phoenix, you should make an effort to preach. It's very simple. Like one example I'll tell you, there is one in Amsterdam, one of my boys, students is there, now Neelambar Prabhu. Now he and his wife is very fond of cooking nice prasad, and husband is very fond of doing kirtan and giving talk. So they became a good combination. And Mataji makes varieties of prasad, and 20, 25 Americans used to come for the class. Prabhuji's Mataji used to come. And this Prabhu would put them in a big circle in the park. And then he would beat the mridanga and do half an hour, 1 hour kirtan. And he would also speak some basic philosophy. And they all became fixed up because they saw the husband and wife are cooperatively working. And they are blissfully situated. And they derive great delight in Krishna consciousness. So we don't have to feel that preaching is a very tough thing. Preaching in West means you should begin with prasadam, following that would be kirtan, and then some basic philosophy. Then people will catch. Because prasad, nobody will say no. And next to that, kirtan people like also. And Hare Narayan Prabhu is famous for singing kirtan. I remember, Alaipa Yude. You had sent me that what you had sung, no?
Yes.
That was such a beautiful. When I hear your voice, I feel only Jesdas is only singing. It was exactly similar to that very rich voice. It is very rich voice, very beautiful. So you sing very well because kirtan in America is so famous. Sometimes 1,000, 50, 60, 70,000 people also come for very big bhakti fest and all people come. So you have that strength. Use that strength to bring people to Krishna consciousness. And then that was about. I was telling about sadhana, and then swadhyaya. Swadhyaya, we were talking about reading Prabhupada books, and how I told you how we must also emphasis on Prabhupada books, reading and giving exams and all that. But here there are 5 steps given here. If you see, Shravanam means hearing or reading Prabhupada books, and Mananam means closed book exam, weekly revision, and all that, which means recollecting is very important, and that will happen when you preach. When you give lectures, you will be forced to recollect what you read. And nididhyasana means contemplation. You should think about how is it relevant to my life, how is it relevant to others' lives. Then only realizations will arise in our mind. Nididhyasana. And the nididhyasana, the end result of nididhyasana is conviction. You will become convinced about what you read. And pathanam means memorizing the shlokas and daily reciting them like Ajendra Moksha and such kinds of prayers. If you keep reciting several times, it will become by-hearted. And then kirtanam, speaking. Then finally presentation. Actually, we should learn to speak the philosophy. So these 5 things. When we do Shravanam well, then recollection should be done by making short notes. And then nididhyasanam is processing it in the mind by contemplating and seeing its applicability in the world, in ourselves. And then developing conviction, and then reciting shlokas, and then preaching it. All this comes in Swadhyaya. And the third one is seva. So one important thing I wanted to say about sadhana and Swadhyaya. We need when you do sadhana, we have to get 2 types of strength. One strength is strength to preach by studying the scriptures. We don't want to become scholars, but we want to become sincere practitioners. We have to apply what we study. And we should, so that is called strength of preaching. And also strength of behavior. And that is the 5th one, if you see sadachar. So if we behave well, then people will like to hear from us. And if we don't behave well, people will run away. Nobody will want to hear from us. So therefore it is said, walk your talk, it is said. So that is also important. Sadachar is also important, 5th one. So the 3rd one is service, you know very well. We can do service at home for the deities. You can also cook prasad and distribute to people, that's a service. Distributing Prabhupada's books is a service. We can go to the temple and serve the deity by cooking for the deity, making garland for the deity, making outfits for the deity, and making ornaments for the deity. We can do varieties of services Prabhupada has made in ISKCON society. Some seva we should take. Every grihastha, minimum 2 hours of service per week in the temple. 2 to 4 hours everybody can do if they make an effort. I know it may be difficult sometimes because of very, very busy, tight schedules. But just like we brush our teeth and take our bath every day despite being busy, same way, seva, begin with 2 hours and then make it 4 hours. Then that type of service to the local temple deities would be very wonderful. Local service doesn't mean only deity service. You can also put a table in the temple and sell Prabhupada books for 2 hours a week or 4 hours a week. That'll be a great service. So, and then Sangha is good association. This is very, very important. Everybody should be able to say that these are my equal friends. These are my senior devotees whom I derive inspiration from. So that type of equal and senior association is very important. When we preach, juniors will automatically come. But we need equal and senior association, which we adore. And that association also includes warning, hearing lectures and making notes and appreciating, and then making inquiries. So by doing that, we make a lot of progress. That type of association. And association should be enlivening. There is a verse in the Bhagavatam. Parasparanukathanam pavanam bhagavat yashakha mitoratir mitat tushtir mitat nivrittirmita atmanaha. It says that when you come in the equal sangha of devotees, nowadays many Zoom groups are having katha together, equal devotees, reading Prabhupada books together. Very beautiful thing it is. When you do that, parasparanukathanam pavanam, it's a holy message. When you read Bhagavat Yashaha, Lord's glories, Mito Rati, people develop great affection for each other when they come together like this. Even devotees develop respect and affection for each other. And then Tushti, they develop satisfaction. Nivritti, they develop detachment from sense gratification. In this way, they make tremendous progress in spiritual life, he says, by coming together in Sangha, association. And then for Sadachara, I told you, good behavior. Sanatana Goswami told Haridas Thakur, some people speak well, but they don't behave well. Some people behave well, but don't speak well. But Haridas, you are doing both perfectly. You preach also powerfully and you behave also powerfully. So you are the guru of the whole world, he told them. So these 5 S's we should remember. Then we get spiritual nourishment by these things. Wholesome development happens. Yeah. See, I told you strength of example, strength of preaching. By example means in sadhana, we should have full morning program. And sadachar means following Vaishnava etiquette in thought, word and deed. And in preaching, we should preach with knowledge, conviction and compassion. Just because we have conviction, we should not be merciless on others. At the same time, in the name of mercy, we should not fail to give the message. It's like the product and the package. Convinced knowledge is like product. And compassionately giving it is package. So we need which one? Product or package? You need both.
Both.
Yeah, we need a combination of both. That is preaching. Example in preaching. Yeah. Third one, please read it. Third one.
Get personal.
Get personal care and problem solving by guidance from your mentor. Everybody would feel connected to each other and to Krishna. Sanatana Goswami used to visit Brajavasis' homes to inquire about their family welfare and to encourage them in Krishna consciousness, offering CARESF, care, appreciation, respect, encouragement, sympathy, forgiveness, etc.
Yeah. For this, you need one mentor above you, some couple whom you adore as your role model. And your heart is touched by them. Like, for my 3 sisters, when they came to Coimbatore, for them, Padmasaki Mataji was the role model for them. They were touched. In fact, my sisters often used to admire and tell me, Swaminathan Prabhu and Padmasaki Mataji, even if they apparently say that we have become angry, they speak so soft. Padmasaki Mataji will say, and Swaminathan Prabhu also would speak very softly and slowly. My sisters were surprised because in our home the culture was a little different. We would be very loud and joking, laughing. When we were kids also, running around, and it was a very loud family. Everybody's voice was very loud. Whereas we have seen Swaminathan Prabhu, Padmasaki Mataji, they are like Lakshmi Narayan, role model. The way they would behave and set an example. My sisters quickly came to 16 rounds and became first-class devotees. And they all got initiated and they became fixed up devotees because they had admiration for their mentor, somebody guiding them closely, and they would attend the classes, come for services. And now, boom, 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 they have been going very high. So we all need role models in our life. Because if you don't have a role model, then there is nothing to aspire for in spiritual life. And then when our heart is touched by the role model devotees, then we think that, what am I doing? I should do more. I should become more serious in spiritual life. That's how it happens. So everybody has to find out a mentor in our ISKCON. So from that, you can get personal care from them, and they will help you solve the problems by guiding you. And many times, even me also, when I want guidance, I have my seniors whom I approach. I have 4 or 5 seniors, amongst whom, like Radha Gopinath Prabhu, I take guidance for spiritual life related things. I ask him. I meet many Maharajas also regarding some subject, Shastra related questions, scripture related questions. I meet them. Similarly, if I have any ISKCON management related questions, I have His Grace Sanatana Prabhu. I take guidance from him. Like that we have, and also my learning about management in ISKCON. Also, His Grace Shyamananda Prabhu, very intelligent. So these devotees are seasoned devotees from whom I can very confidently take guidance. So we should have many devotees whom we can list that these are the great souls I am inspired by in my spiritual life, and I would like to emulate their model. Yeah. Then you get care, appreciation, respect, encouragement, sympathy, everything you get from them. And that's how you feel nourished. And then, this one.
Take training in any area relevant for your seva in ISKCON. Training in skills such as preaching, cooking, musical instruments, deity worship, raising children, human relationships, engaging their talents to serve others, responsible in ashrama and occupation. Training to be given in respective areas of service, book distribution, missionary activities, cultural activities, loyalty to Srila Prabhupada.
These are all different type of areas of service. So you can learn skills or training in a particular area, correct, no? Which is relevant to you. So beauty of ISKCON society is, ISKCON has multiple varieties of activities, hundreds and hundreds of varieties of activities, and you have the choice also. You can choose what you like to do, and then you connect according to the local temple, what are the needs there, and who is expert in doing that, and get trained yourself. Like MSF, they go monthly Sankirtan festival in the West. Somebody is playing mirdangam and singing. Somebody is cooking, packing prasad. One Mataji is cooking and giving prasad. She can't go to the play spot, but she cooks and gives prasad. Somebody has a vehicle, they transport. Everybody does different service. Finally, the purpose books are going. Like that. All of us can get training in any area we want and become expert and then end the service. Yeah, please read it.
Keep communication. With devotees, always get communication about allocation of service, organization of major events, visits of great souls to temple, communication of important decisions, etc.
Yeah, this is very important. We should not be disconnected from devotees. Sometimes what happens, devotees think that, if I call devotees, they will call me for this program, that program. So better keep a little away from devotees. Some devotees even intentionally take a house little away from the temple, because they think that if I'm near the temple, I may be called for service, or I may be immediately called, come for this, come for that, whatever, this program, that program. Some people become little overcooked up because of too many spiritual engagements. I would say, don't keep yourself in comfort zone. Don't keep yourself in panic zone. Both are two extremes. You have to keep ourselves in stretch zone. It's the middle one. Stretch zone means we should feel that my life is just enough time to do everything. It should be like that. If you have too much time, we will be quarreling unnecessarily, finding fault with others. And if you are too much taking overload of service and programs and everything, we will get disoriented. We may feel that, oh, life is not in my control. I don't know what is priority. And then we want to drop everything and run away. We will feel like that. That is also not good. Both are two extremes. Stretch zone means, actually, even many scientists have found also that when load is beyond your capacity, like keeping a coconut on the head of a sparrow, we say, no? If you keep like that, you develop phobia, you develop fear. And if you take less load, then you feel boredom in life. And there is no challenge. But when you take a challenge which is difficult to do, but you do it, that's a sense of accomplishment. That's where something called flow happens. The flow means you feel thrill. Oh, it was difficult, but I could do it. We took a target for this marathon and we could accomplish the target. We took a target for the Janmashtami fundraising and we could accomplish the target. And you feel the joy. And in this way, spiritual life is supposed to be joyful, actually. So in that way, keep communication with devotees. And you can tell the devotees, you always inform me about any upcoming thing. Depending on my availability of time, I will decide whether to come or not. But we should not join those WhatsApp groups where a lot of gossip happens. Gossip or blasphemy or fault finding and all happens. We should pull out of those WhatsApp groups. We should say that, sorry, I don't want to hear Dosh Katha. We can keep away. But in those WhatsApp groups where effective communication happens, good, healthy communication, which nourishes our bhakti. And those groups we should be part where we gain some benefit. So you'll remember these 5 things. What are the 5 topics I spoke about today?
Yes. First one is vision for devotee care, like how we can associate with devotees, like
after initiation, how to be a part of this big family, spiritual family of ISKCON. So under that, I told 5 things. What is the first one?
Even there, you spoke about the dadati pratigrahati.
That is the first one is relationship. What you said is correct. It's called Preeti Lakshana.
Preeti Lakshana.
So that's the first one we spoke about, Preeti Lakshana. So yes, we elaborately spoke on that. Then second one, spiritual nourishment.
Spiritual nourishment, where we had first is sadhana, swadhyaya, seva, sadachar and sangha.
Correct. Yeah, those 5 S's. And if you pay attention to this, you will really become spiritually very stout and strong. If you pay attention to these 5 things nicely. Yeah, thank you. Third one? Personal care. And problem solving. Personal care and problem solving. So who can help us?
Mentors.
We should look for a mentor in our life and then take out time to develop that relationship with the mentor so that we get help. Actually, both of you can get a lot of guidance from Padmasri Mataji and Prabhu. They are also there. At the same time, because they are relative, they are intimate, but if you also have others with the blessing and permission of Padmasri Mataji, anybody known also, you can take guidance. In Pune, generally a daughter doesn't take counseling from mother. She takes from another Mataji in Pune. They do like that. Because generally my daughter is very intimate with the mother. So therefore, many mothers put their daughter under another Mataji for mentorship, like that they do. Yeah. And then that was about personal care. Yeah. And then fourth one?
Communication.
Keep communication. That is the last one. There was one more. Training and in skills and service. Training in skills and service. We should take training. Because many times we say, I don't know how to worship deity, therefore I don't do deity worship. I don't know how to distribute books, I am feeling little reservation. Okay, if you feel reservation, go to the temple, go with book distributors, and we also learn how they do it. Take training in skills and specific service that the temple needs. Yeah. And then communication. Keep communication with devotees. Yeah. And keeping communication with devotees is very valuable. There is a good, healthy communication, there's unhealthy communication. So we should keep the healthy one, and unhealthy we should avoid. Yeah. And in the same manner, one last thing which I have not written here is, in services, there are also service, what do you call it? In our Pune temple, we have something called as Congregation Service Board, CSB, we call it. So the CSB is like a team which awards service to thousands of devotees. So you become a part of it, you give your name for service, they will give you a list of 100 services they'll give you. You can tick mark from that. And then they will give you whatever service you tick mark. For that, they will call you. And they will connect you to service groups like that. So communication is different from service. Communication may be for intimation about any yatra coming up, and some guru, some Maharaj is coming and all that. That's communication. But service means if you join service group, then you get that seva regularly. They will call you, during a particular time. That's service group. So how to remember these 6 things which I told you? I will tell you. There's an easy acronym. You can remember RSP, TCS. You can remember. You can think Radheshyam Prabhu worked in TCS, like that you can remember. R for relationship, T for RSS for spiritual nourishment, and P for personal care and problem solving, and T for training and skills and services, and C for communication, and S for service groups. Yeah.
Good.
So in this way, you create a facility for yourself in spiritual life. Then post initiation, these things will help you to advance very nicely in spiritual life. This will give you a wholesome care for you. Then you can progress very nicely in spiritual life. Because many people, after initiation, they do not know what to do now. What can be initiated? So what is the difference before initiation and after initiation? So after initiation, we take these elements very seriously. And before initiation, we might be sometimes distracted by multiple things in life. But now we are initiated. We have become a part of a spiritual family now. We take these things seriously. I am sorry, it must be very late for you in US now.
No, it's not even 10 o'clock here.
Yeah.
Any question? One question?
Yeah. So can I ask one question?
Yeah, sure.
So in terms of the vision for devotee care, so one thing I was just thinking about, like how we can improve this here. So what we have observed is, like, we have like 4 or 5 devotees where we are pretty close with, but generally in the US, like, people tend to have their own boundaries. Like, it's not even among devotees, it's very difficult to get past that. So should we? So
there is a way to get through that. See, in amongst the people you come across in your life, there are 4 types of people you come across. One is very friendly, favorable, open-minded, willing to connect. This is one type. And the second type of people are neutral. If you go, they do. If you don't go, they keep away. They are like completely neutral. Third type of people are inimical. They're political, inimical. Sometimes you go near, then you get into trouble, like mantra for Kaikeyi. They're dangerous people. And the 4 types of people, they are completely udasin. They are non-connected to us in any way. So the first 3 people we come across closely. But the 4th one, they may be far away. They may be going to temple. You may see them from a distance, but you never connected with them. That's the 4th category. So in this 4th category, 4th category is useless. 3rd category is harmful. We should not connect. And the 2nd category is udasin. So 2nd category is a person who is neutral type. You connect with him. If you do service with him, he will silently do service with you, but he will not connect with you. That is 2nd type. But the first type is the kind of person you should connect with.
Okay.
Those who are, very, very open-minded, friendly. They are ready to form new relationships. And they are good souls. They are worthy of association. And if you, request them to take your family with them for service and other things they do, or classes and everything, they'll be open-minded to welcome you. See, now, for example, say, I am a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj now. But I never show this anywhere that I am Radhanath Swami's disciple. So I will be more having affinity for my own God brothers. I have never shown that. In ISKCON, there are disciples of His Holiness Gopalakrishna Maharaj, His Holiness Lokanath Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapadaka Maharaj. I connect with all people like my own brothers and sisters. I don't see any difference. So because I am open-minded, I also have a lot of friendships across the globe. Many, many temples, many leaders, many families, many boys, irrespective of who is whose disciple. So in the same manner, you will also find some families will be like that. You will find. Especially I have seen in America, the proper disciples are like that. And the senior people, they are very open-minded. They are not very closed. They have realized at a great level. So good number of them are very open-minded, and when you want to join their group for either Sangha association or you want to do seva, they will never say no. They will include you. So in case you are not able to find somebody in the vicinity, then one can also consider connecting with somebody who may be a little away, but meeting once in a month. In America, commuting is not very difficult. If you fly a couple of hours. You are in Phoenix, right?
Yes.
Phoenix.
Yeah, San Diego?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yeah, San Diego, there's a nice temple. I was there in San Diego, the recent visit. So the next visit, I may come to Phoenix. There is a possibility, Arizona State University,
Oh, okay.
So there is a boy, Ravi Teja. I mean, he's actually doing his studies there, one boy, very good boy. He had come to San Diego to meet me, he was calling. I said, I'll keep in mind for the next visit, I told him. So, like that temple, San Diego is a nice temple. It's only Badrinath Maharaj, very nice to connect. So, there, in case you have any community members, very nice people. Generally, how these connections happen, you have to be inspired by something. Like you heard somebody's lecture, you are very inspired. Either you heard them on YouTube or you heard them in the temple personally. Or you heard about a person from somebody that Mataji, that Prabhuji, they're very good people. They're very welcoming and they're, very friendly. Then having heard from somebody, you also go and connect. And then you see that, yes, connecting with them is very uplifting and nourishing. Then you can form friendships with such people like that. But we all need, actually, I am finding in India, some of us, we may be introvertish in nature. We feel that I will do my own thing at home and we feel afraid to connect with new people. But if we go a little out of the way to connect, that will be very rewarding in spiritual life. Once you connect, then you will, because when you suddenly feel a bit lonely, life is a little boring. At that time, you won't have people around you suddenly.
Yeah.
Unless we invest some time in going to somebody's home and then inviting them to your home and then studying Bhagavatam together with somebody. And then you have a circle of people with whom you can connect. You can phone call and ask them, in this situation, I want to make some decision. Can you help me? What would you do if you are in this situation? Is it safe to do this? Is it good to go for that? That kind of thing we can ask. Mataji's need Mataji friends. Similarly, Prabhuji's need Prabhuji friends. And ISKCON is a very big world. We can connect, provided we take out a little time for this. Preeti Lakshanam. Is it all right?
Sure, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for giving us your time.